Thank you, Chairman. But I think you have an oversight because we have one key question, question number D, that talks about the World Development Fund. You know that's a monster in the house. So take note. Honorable Senators, once again for record, I am Boss Mailura, the MCA representing the great people of Masimba in Nyariba and Masaba constituency in this great county of Kisii. I stand before you to raise a concern about the financial autonomy of county assemblies. And Honorable Senators, because you are here today, it is an advantage to us to get a statement from you on why do county assemblies still rely heavily on the executive for the release of funds despite provision for financial autonomy in the PFM Act. Honorable Senators, and what is the Senate doing to ensure timely disbursement of operational funds to county assemblies to avoid storing and of projects and oversight and matters to do with legislative duties? Another point is, can this committee support legislation or a policy that creates a county assembly fund to assemblies to avoid stalling, or policy that create a county assembly fund separate from the county revenue fund to enhance independence? As all of you know that the county assembly is an independent legislation arm, but all the time we derive funds from the executive to run our operations. Why do county assemblies lack the capacity to initiate and implement their own budget lines despite being distinct arms of county governance? And finally, what mechanisms are in place to prevent the executive from using budget control to manipulate the legislative agenda of the county assemblies? Thank you, Honorable Senators.
You want to ask another question, or you want to ask one of them?
Okay, we are talking about the budget disbursement and control. There are frequent delays in disbursement from the National Treasury. What is the Senate doing to pressure timely release of county funds, especially for assemblies, operations and development? Why is the Senate not pushing so hard for amendments to the Division of Revenue Act to ring-fence county assemblies' budgets? What is being done to improve the budgeting process to allow the county?
Come again about Division of Revenue.
Why is the Senate not pushing harder for amendments to the Division of Revenue Act to ring-fence county assemblies' budgets? What is being done to improve the budgeting process to allow county assemblies to plan more effectively without the last-minute changes or ceilings of the control budget? Immediate example, Honorable Senators, recently, most county assemblies were forced to cut their budget even after we had done the budgets. This assembly where we are seated today, we had to cut our own budget by 180 million and 118 million, and it was money that we had already budgeted for. But we were forced by the relevant authority or institution that we should cut our budget. More importantly is the World Development Fund. Sorry? You talk about that? Amazon Dairy. Okay, thank you.